Oh,
Really? Are they still a goal up as well?
Yeah,
they
sorry.
are. Yeah,
Sorry,
that's a 3-match ban. 3-match ban.
The room.
Back in the room.
Back into the room. Sorry. I have nothing to say.
Look into the eyes, not around the eyes.
Because he has too many names. Darwin, Gabriel, Nunez, Ribeiro.
Yeah,
too many names.
Hey, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I've got one here. You're going to like this, Lee.
Go on.
Darwin has been naturally selected out of that match.
Oh,
yes.
That's very good. Good scientific joke.
You can tell you got a doctorate.
Yeah, that's right. Only guys with PhD can make jokes like that. Yeah.
By natural selection, yeah, totally.
So, should anyone else got any points on that, or should we skip ahead to the Wolves preview?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's move.
Yeah, okay, let's rattle through this. So, problems, we got the rail disruption on the day, so that's going to be a real ball ache for everyone to get to.
Yeah.
I hope Redemption's open, so I'm going to might park there. Do you think any new players will come in for that? I'm just speaking personally. I think maybe that last game has given him kind of like the leeway to say, let's rotate, because, he's. I think one is the opportunity now to do that, but where a couple of them didn't have such a good game.
I think he might play Højbjerg and Basuma together, actually. Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else think they make some changes or keep it as it is?
I think he'll keep it as it is. I still think he'll start as we started, unless there's an injury, and then he'll make the changes. I don't think he feels that the new players are quite up to speed yet in terms of what he requires. I think, and if you go back to our last home game, performance was really good with that same starting 11. So I think he'll go with that same starting 11 and then just make the changes as he needs to.
Cool.
I think it'll come down to how much baby oil they put on Traore. I think that's going to be a very big factor.
I think they're putting him on the bench at the moment, so the bench might be a bit slippery. Might be sliding off.
Exactly. Look, I think that you misjudge these sides. You see what happened at United. No one would have ever thought, Brentford, the giant killer. But I think, you misjudge. Remember, after the Battle of the Bridge, Newcastle ran riot on us. I remember someone texting me from Newcastle, and this girl was like, "Gan Raji yet?" Why I'm motherfucker. And I think that Basuma, just even showing his passion after 17 minutes, showing that he was ready for the throwdown and jumping into the thick of it. I think, I watched a Euro match in one of the suites next to Defoe once. I'll never forget what he said. He was talking about, I don't want to mention which players he was referring to, but he said they don't know what it means to wear the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a very powerful statement from a legendary player, and it shows his legendary status. Mm-hmm. That they wear the shirt that I've tattooed on my body, that we have all these things and spent all this money to see these matches, and I think that kind of throwdown, that kind of passion, and I think Richarlison, to be able to spell Harry Kane, we're not at this place where we need Harry Kane to come on to beat Morecambe anymore.
No,
we have additional firepower, so I think this is the perfect opportunity. And these guys, Kulusevski and Son took a beating against Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
They have to stay fresh. You can't keep running these guys into the dirt.
I think Son looks like he needs a rest as well, actually. So,
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So we tend to start really badly on these early games. We're not got a great record at them. So anyone concerned about that, or do you feel confident?
Don't start Sessegnon.
Yeah.
I think I'd be more concerned if it was later in the season, where we've got multiple games a week and it was away from home or something like that. So yeah, I appreciate that it's, maybe history tells us something, but we're at home. They've had a week to prepare. They've had no other interruption. So I don't think there should be any excuses.
No. Rich?
Sorry, microphone issues. I don't have any concerns at all for it. I don't think we've got any bloody excuses not to show up for this one, have we?
No, none at all. No.
That's bit me on the arse before now, obviously. But,
yeah, absolutely.
They look. Wolves really looked good a couple of seasons back, or a few seasons back, but they look like a real team in transition, don't they? At the moment, they're about 15th or something. So, Steve, you worried at all, or you're quite relaxed about it?
No, I'm all right with that. I think I'm looking forward to it. It's looking forward to being at the game. It should be a good atmosphere, and hopefully we put in another kind of performance that we did when we finally showed up against Southampton. So as long as we start a little bit quicker, and I feel even if we do, even if we don't start quickly, I feel that the atmosphere and what we've got now to we've got the ability to turn things around as well, which we've shown even in the Chelsea game. So no, I think we should be positive about that.
What's happening with good old DJ Ed Spence? Excuse me, Jed Spence.
He wasn't on the bench, was he, for the last game? But I think they were going to ease him in, aren't they? I would imagine. But that would be a great game
against Nottingham. I mean, you know what I mean? Because that's a lot of psychologically playing, unless you're like Graben playing in Sunderland Till I Die, and you can't wait to come back at Coleman. Like, that makes sense to me. Yeah. But I think, he was great last season. I'd love to see him. I mean, he's talked about how Tottenham's a dream fulfilled. I thought it was a really solid signing. Even Arsenal Fan TV was like, I want to see Basuma. I'd love to get Jed Spence. I think we got them both.
I think that would be a good game to play him, even if you played him for 30, 40 minutes, I suppose.
Agreed.
But yeah.
Okay, should we right side?
Does anybody think old Brian was on the bench on Sunday? Does anybody think he's going to see anything of the turf at all?
I think he will. I think they see something in him. Apparently they I think Alistair Goldberg was reporting it, that he thinks that they see a lot of positivity there.
He gets on for the pre-match warm-up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like him a lot. Not just that awesome Beatles haircut. He does.
He's a great player. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like if Stallone got crossed with a member of the Verve or something.
That's right. Yeah.
So should we go? Let's jump ahead to predictions before we round up and go. Andy, what do you think the score will be?
I'm going to go for a 2-0 Spurs. Spurs win.
Cool. Steve?
3-1 Spurs.
Good stuff. Rich?
3-1 Spurs.
Simon?
2-0, man.
2-0, okay. And Adam?
3-1 Spurs. Very original.
I'm going to say 4-0 Spurs. I fancy us to give him a bit of a tonkin, actually.
It's got to be worth that train journey, isn't it?
It's a 12:30 kickoff.
That is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lee, it's a 12:30 kickoff, mate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that is true. But I do fancy us to heavily rotate this game, and those new players will be well up for it, I think.
Yeah.
That's my reasoning.
We owe them for Nuno. We owe them for
Nuno. Oh, yeah.
We got to bring it to them. I'm going to make you proud.
We should get you down there, Adam, because obviously Conte's can't be on the bench. You should be on the bench.
I would just do it for the chance to punch Tuchel in the dick. I was in town staying at the Chelsea Harbor Hotel when they had their end of season party, and he was raising a ruckus on the top roof, and he was out there, as he's the only one who looks like the German Slender Man in a ball cap, and. And he's up there, and it was yo, you need to relax. And as an American, I want to buy, between what they've done for Pulisic and putting an American into an FA Cup final, into playing Champions League, and now American ownership, even if it is the Dodgers, that's huge. I couldn't get behind the Fenway family. I'm a Yankee fan, and I support Spurs. So I was maybe Elon Musk might come in and buy Spurs.
That would be good.
God.
So, Adam, have you got any new projects coming up you want to tell us about?
Yeah, that's really cool of you to ask. I'm just starting a podcast with Complex. So you may know Complex, deep into hip-hop culture, street culture. Their food angle, First We Feast. They do the Hot Ones series, hosted by my buddy Sean Evans, with hot wings and hot questions. First We Feast and Complex are launching a new show called The Meals That Made Me. And we start recording tomorrow. Got 2 episodes with Ghetto Gastro and Pasta Genius Evan Funke, but we've got Andrew Zimmern, the rapper E04, Noriega, like big people. So we got that coming out. Season 4 of The Food That Built America starts recording the end of this month. And so I was living in Camden when the pandemic broke out, filming a show for Dave called Supperman, which sadly got scuttled because of, a global pandemic. But E1 is now my new production partner with the great people from WizKid. And yes, I got something cooking up with E1 that has not yet been announced. So hopefully doing that and hopefully continuing to drop this blubber in case Spurs need me in the back half of the season. They need like a central defending Jew, and they just sort of plop me in the middle to block.
Literally, just as a roadblock.
Yeah, like a fleshy pylon. That's my drag name.
Lovely. Yeah, you're just going to be sitting there, but you'll just have a bagel in your mouth.
Represent.
Absolutely. We're here, Yids.
We'll be parking the host instead of parking the bus.
Yeah,
exactly. Why not? Why
Absolutely.
and why bloody not? I'm making inroads for Americans however I can.
Absolutely.
I was saying this to my wife yesterday, actually. Like the nature is a way of kind of killing you off, because as you get a bit older, you probably have more money to eat and drink as you want to do, but you haven't got physically the capacity to eat and drink as much as you would have done when you're in your 20s and 30s. So yeah. So the pod itself, that's on all platforms basically.
Wherever you get your podcast, which is I guess the best way to do it. But we're just starting to record, and Lexus came on and wanted to do some content with Complex, and I just that's what I love about your podcast, that for fans like myself that don't have the deep knowledge of football that you guys do, you make it accessible. And I think that what Complex is trying to do is make food and food culture accessible to the non-snooty foodie set. And that's what's so dope. Like, you can go now, Maltby Street Market in London, used to be called the Rope Walk Market in Bermondsey, places like Borough Market, like allowing young, it's so good. Yeah. Finding, even now Spitalfields has more food offerings, to see young chefs really getting a chance. Guy Ritchie has a place in Fitzrovia called Lore of the Land, and they got the chef from Smoking Goat. And again, like when you see young chefs bring in their own ethnic identity and their own background, and seeing great food appearing in Peckham and Peckham pastrami, and finding great places popping up, I love that. Hence my desire to see Dane Scarlett and Troy Barrett back, because these young bloods, I mean, I think that's those teams that do really well, right? That you have that older, wizened elder statesman, and then you have the Riyad Mahrezes and the N'Golo Kantes that are hungry and have something to prove. So
yeah. So this sounds a bit sort of like an anti-Bourdain sort of vibe, doesn't it?
I guess, Tony was my mentor, and he had one very, very powerful statement. I remember not long before he passed, he said, if you're not Eddie Wang or Eddie Wang and Action Bronson, I don't want to hear what you have to say about food. And I think that what happened was he was so surrounded by the foodie set that when people came to food with a less than precious, less than erudite, studied way, and just found the joy of food and chowing and exploration and not judging stuff. Like, I had a reporter, my first press junket, bring me jellied eels and going, I bet the American won't eat it. And it's like, but for a lot of people, they love that.
Yeah.
Who the hell am I to say no? Like going to Manzi's at Tower Bridge for pie mash and liquor. Again, nothing that I'm accustomed to. Or Morecambe Bay prawns. I mean, that's the thing, that's white bait. Like all these things that, it's very easy for, people that live throughout the United Kingdom, whether it's scouse or haggis or Scotch eggs, that Americans may turn their noses up at. This is the lifeblood and part of the identity of people. And if it's curry on chips in Manchester, or if it's peas pudding, or if it's Staffordshire oatcakes, it's part of the fabric and the identity of these people. And personally, by the way, I thought Tottenham was just doing well because we had those dope cups where the beer came through the bottom. But now with neck oil, But I think now, like, the food offerings are getting way better at these grounds. And